My name is Elliot Walker. I work the night shift at the Franklin County Morgue, Ohio. Small place. Outdated equipment. Tucked between warehouses and railroad tracks. No one ever notices it. No one ever wants to notice it. That night, I wasn't supposed to be there. Took the shift for David, who had a family emergency. It's an easy night, man. Only one body coming in, he said as he left. Liar. Freaking liar. At 11:43 p.m., the first body arrived. A car accident. A kid. Barely recognizable. Standard intake. Tag. Bag. Store. And I'm here to tell you a few things about her. But first, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, because there's a new story like this every week, and you won't want to miss it. Now back to it. As I cleaned one of the cold trays, I heard it. 3 knocks. Sharp. Precise. Tock. 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 I froze. Looked around. Nothing. Nobody. Just me and the low hum of the freezers. Probably metal contracting, I told myself. 10 minutes later. Tock. 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 Clearer. Closer. Intentional. I grabbed the clipboard. Walked the hall. Lockers 1 through 28. Stopped. Listened. Tock. 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 Locker 23. My throat dried instantly. Pulled the sheet. Checked the register. Locker 23, empty. No body assigned. No intake logged. My hand hovered over the handle. Touched the steel. Ice cold. Way colder than the others. A kind of cold that didn't feel normal. Then bang. A loud hit from inside. The whole door rattled. I stumbled back. Hello? I asked like an idiot. Silence. But not empty silence. A heavy one. Thick. Dense. Like the air was soaked in something wrong. Then I saw it. A dark line. Thick. Oozing. Dripping from the bottom edge of locker 23. I crouched. Ran a gloved finger through it. Sticky. Viscous. Thicker than blood. It smelled. God, it smelled like rotten meat mixed with rust and something else. Something that made my stomach twist before my brain even processed it. I stood up fast. And right then, CLAC. The latch unlocked. By itself. The door didn't swing open. Just cracked maybe 2-3 inches. Enough for that sound. That breathing. Wet. Heavy. Sick. I backed away. My legs shook. My skin crawled like fire ants were under it. I was alone. Middle of the night. Inside a morgue. Standing in front of a locker that should have been empty, but was clearly breathing. For a second, I thought about calling someone. But who? Dispatch? Cops? Hey, there's a locker breathing at the morgue. Yeah, no. I grabbed the handle. Froze. Did I really want to open it? Every instinct screamed no. But my hands had other plans. The door creaked open. Slow. Metal grinding metal. Inside. Nothing. At first. The tray was pulled halfway out. Empty. No body. No bag. But the smell. It punched me in the chest. Rot. Decay. Wet iron. And something worse. Something I couldn't describe if my life depended on it. Then, I noticed it. The stain. Right in the center of the tray. A dark, wet circle. Still fresh. Still dripping. A single drop fell. Hit the floor with a sticky splat. I leaned closer, against every survival instinct I had. The metal wasn't cold. It was warm. Not just warm, like skin. Like something had been lying there seconds ago. My gloved hand shook as I touched the stain. Thick. Tacky. Felt almost fleshy. Tock. 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 I jumped so hard I hit the shelf behind me. The knock didn't come from the locker anymore. It came from the wall. Inside the wall. Right behind locker 23. No. No way. That was a solid cinder block wall. There's nothing back there but dirt. Or at least, that's what I thought. Then the sound. A dragging sound. Slow. Wet. Like something heavy sliding across the concrete behind the wall. My skin crawled. My chest tightened. Every breath hurt like glass. The light above flickered. Once. Twice. And then, I heard it. Whispers. No, not whispers. Breathing. Dozens of breaths. All at once. Heavy. Wet. Like lungs full of water. It wasn't coming from one place anymore. It was everywhere. The lockers. The vents. The walls. Even the floor beneath my feet. The morgue was breathing. And then TOC. Tock. Tock. This time. right behind me. I spun around. The hallway was empty, but the temperature dropped so fast it felt like my bones were freezing from the inside out. And then I noticed it, the light at the end of the hallway, flickering, dim, but something was standing there, tall, bent, its arms too long, its head tilted, empty, a void, a hole, a face that wasn't a face, just darkness. It didn't move. It just stood there, breathing, waiting. I couldn't move, couldn't think, couldn't even breathe properly. The thing at the end of the hallway, it wasn't moving toward me. Not yet. It was just watching, or listening. The void where its face should be. Expanded, contracted. It was breathing. Heavy, wet, deep. My fingers trembled as I fumbled for my radio. Dispatch, come in. There's something in here. Static. Nothing but static. The radio wasn't dead, it was drowning. Drenched in this HUM. This breathing. I tried again. Dispatch, hello? Nothing. But then, a whisper. Not through the radio. Not through my ears. It was inside my head. Don't turn around. My heart sank. Every hair on my body stood up. And of course, I turned. The hallway was empty. For half a second, I believed it. Thought maybe it was my brain frying itself with fear. Until, talk, right behind me. Not the wall, not the lockers, not the vents. It was breathing right down my neck. I spun around so fast I nearly fell. Nothing. But then, I saw it. A black stain, growing, spreading across the floor. Thick, sticky, like oil but alive. It pulsed, throbbed. Every time the thing breathed, the stain grew. And then, the first locker door opened. Not 23. Locker 5. Slow, screeching metal against metal. The tray slid out, empty, but soaked, wet, dripping, breathing. Then another. Locker 9. Then 12. Then 17. One after the other. All opening, all sliding out, all empty, but not really. Because something was crawling beneath the trays. Inside the walls. Inside the steel. Inside the morgue itself. The air vibrated. The lights dimmed. The breathing grew louder. Closer. Deeper. I backed up. Slow. Didn't dare turn my back again. And then bang. 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 All 28 lockers slammed shut at once. So loud it rattled the ceiling tiles. I hit the floor. Covered my ears. Couldn't scream. Couldn't breathe. And right as the sound died, a single knock. Not 3. Just 1. From locker 23. Talk. I looked up. The latch. It was turning. Unlocking. By itself. The latch on locker 23 snapped open. CLAC. The door creaked. Slow. Agonizingly slow. A gap. 2 inches. Then 3. The air that hit me wasn't cold. It was damp. Heavy. Like breathing in something that had been alive too long. And it smelled. God, the smell. Rot. Salt. Rust. And something sweet, thick, like spoiled blood left in the heat. I couldn't move. Couldn't blink. Couldn't even cry. Then, the tray started sliding out. But there was no body. No bag. Just a shape. A lump. Covered in something black, slick, wet, writhing. Pulsing. Alive. I leaned forward. I wish I hadn't. It shifted. Something peeled back. Slid off. And then, it breathed. Not from lungs. Not from a mouth. From the tray itself. From the metal. From the walls. From the air. My teeth chattered. My legs buckled. But I couldn't fall. Because something was moving. Under my feet. Under the floor. Under the concrete. Beneath the morgue itself. A vibration. A pulse. Like a giant heart. Beating somewhere below. Or breathing. Or both. Then, splash. A thick, black liquid exploded from the locker. Splattered across the floor, my boots, my gloves. It burned. Not like fire. Like cold. Like ice digging under my skin. Like my nerves were freezing from the inside out. The locker door swung fully open. And what was inside stepped out. It was tall. Wrong. Bent backward, like its spine didn't belong to anything human. Arms too long. Fingers scraping the floor. The head tilted. But no face. No features. Just a hole. A hollow, black hole where a face should be. And that hole, it expanded. It contracted. It breathed. Lights flickered. The floor trembled. Every other locker door began shaking, rattling like something inside was desperate to get out. And then, it raised its hand. Long black. Wet. Fingers split in the middle like they were stitched together wrong, then torn apart. It pointed. At me. And in the middle of that silence, it spoke. Not with a mouth. Not with sound. Directly inside my head. You don't belong here, then TOC. Talk. Talk. From behind me. From the wall. From inside the floor. From everywhere at once. I turned and realized there were more. Dozens. No. Hundreds. Crawling from the shadows. From under the lockers. From inside the morgue walls. All of them. Breathing. Waiting. Hungry. I couldn't run. Couldn't scream. Couldn't even breathe right. Because the air wasn't air anymore. It was dense. Thick. Like breathing through wet cloth soaked in blood, oil, and something rotten. The thing from locker 23. It towered over me. Arms dangling. Fingers dragging behind it like broken marionette strings soaked in black sludge. The skin, if you could even call it that, was slick, stretched, split in places, exposing veins that pulsed not with blood, but with something darker. Something that moved inside, wriggling, like parasites swimming under translucent flesh. The cavity where its face should have been. It wasn't just a hole. It was depth. A spiraling void. An endless throat that expanded, contracted, breathed. And when it exhaled, the walls themselves moaned. The floor shook. The lockers trembled like living things. Then TOC. Talk. Talk. The sound came from everywhere. From the vents. The walls. The ceiling. The pipes. Even the fluorescent lights buzzed in rhythm with the knocks. And then, I saw them. The first hand skeletal, but swollen. Rotten fingers blackened, skin stretched tight like overstuffed sausages, nails split, jagged, dripping. Pushing up through the concrete floor, like the morgue itself was birthing it. Then another, and another. Fingers, arms, heads, bent, twisted, upside down faces. Mouths open, frozen in a scream, but there was no sound. Just breath. They pulled themselves out, not like climbing, more like unfolding from the cracks. Like the building was splitting open to let them out. Their forms were impossible. Bodies stitched from mismatched parts. Torsos with too many ribs. Faces with mouths where eyes should be. Legs bent backwards. Hands fused together at the palms. Each one worse than the last. Some didn't walk. They crawled. Slid. Dragged themselves forward, leaving behind thick, black trails that steamed. Like the liquid was eating through the concrete itself. The morgue lights flickered wildly, but never fully went out. No, this place wanted me to see. Then bang, bang, bang. All the remaining lockers burst open at once. Trays flew out, crashing against the walls, some flipping over, others twisting midair like something yanked them from inside. The smell hit like a wall. A cocktail of rot, ammonia, decay, but there was something worse underneath it. Something electric. Something metallic. Like the air itself was charged with static, humming, vibrating. I turned to run, but the floor split open. A crack shot from one wall to the other, a jagged wound in the concrete, and from it, something oozed. Thick, black, moving, pulsating, and deep within that crack, a sound, a voice. No, not a voice, a vibration in my skull. This is the breath between life and what comes after. I stumbled backward, my foot landing right in the black ooze, and it burned. Not like fire, like ice, like needles crawling under my skin, like something was moving, into me. Veins in my ankle bulged, turned black, spread up my leg. I screamed, but the scream never left my mouth. The air was gone. The morgue had breathed me in, and there was nothing left to breathe out. The shadow from locker 23 stepped closer. The hole where its face should have been opened wider. Inside, I saw movement. Hands, faces, mouths, all screaming, all breathing, all trapped. This thing didn't just kill. It collected. It kept every breath, every soul, every mistake that ever crossed this threshold. And then, it raised its hand, pointed straight at my chest. Talk, 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 and whispered, "You're next." The air shifted the moment it pointed at me. Heavy, thick, wet, like the morgue itself was breathing in, holding that breath, and waiting to crush me with it. Cracks spread across the floor. Frost bloomed over the lockers. Ceiling tiles trembled, bulging like something was pressing from the other side, trying to get through. And that thing, the thing from locker 23, took a step, a single step, and the floor beneath hissed, bubbled, and peeled back like skin from hot iron. Black sludge spilled out from under its foot, eating through concrete like acid. Its body wasn't solid. Not really. It shifted, twisted, as if dozens, maybe hundreds of things were moving inside it. Limbs pressing against the skin. Fingers, faces, mouths. All trapped, all gasping. The hole where a face should be, widened. It wasn't a void. It was a spiral. A black, endless funnel. Inside, rows of teeth. Hands. Eyes, some blinking, others rotting, melting. And deeper still, something pulsing. Something breathing. Something waiting. The sound wasn't just in the air. It was under the floor. In the walls. Inside my own lungs. Like the building was breathing me in. Then the walls cracked. Long, jagged fractures split the tiles, the ceiling, the metal frames. And through every crack, something seeped. Not just liquid. Dark veins. Black roots. Twitching. Crawling. Pulsating. Like veins searching for something or someone to wrap around. The floor beneath my feet bulged. Split. A massive hole opened like a wound tearing through flesh. From its depths, arms. Twisted. Fused. Some with too many fingers. Some with none. Flesh that was barely flesh. More like something pretending to be it. They reached for me. Dozens. Then hundreds. Hands clawing up from the floor. From the walls. From the cracks in the lockers. I kicked. Pulled. Screamed. But there was no sound. The morgue had stolen the air. The only thing left was breath. Their breath. The creature leaned forward. Its hollow face inches from mine. The spiral opened wider, wider, until I felt my skin tighten, pulling toward it. Gravity bending. Reality itself folding toward that hole. Inside the spiral, I saw people. No, what was left of them. Faces stretched. Mouths forever open in silent screams. Hands desperately clawing the inside walls, trying to climb out. Trying to breathe. Trying and failing. It wasn't just a mouth. It was a cage. A prison for every soul that had ever knocked and never left. The sound of the lockers rattled again, but this time they didn't slam shut. They bent, warped, folded inward like something inside was pulling them from the other side of reality. Then the pounding. Tock, tock, tock. Not from one place. From everywhere. The vents. The ceiling. The floor beneath me. The lockers. Even inside my own chest, I swear I felt it. A knock. From inside me. I dragged myself toward the hallway, slipping, sliding on the black ooze that coated the floor like thick blood. And then the phone. That old, yellowed landline at the front desk. It rang. Sharp. Loud. Wrong. A piercing scream cutting through the suffocating hum of breath, knocks, and something worse. I don't know why. I don't know how. But in that moment, I ran toward it, because that sound was the only thing here that wasn't breathing. The ringing was relentless, piercing, violent, echoing through a morgue that was no longer a building, but a living, breathing organism. I sprinted, slipping, sliding over the sludge. Hands reached from the floor. Faces pressed through the cracks in the walls, stretched skin, hollow eyes, mouths locked wide open like drowning victims. All of them gasping, but never breathing. The creature from locker 23 followed. Slow, deliberate, its long, rotted arms dragging behind. Its head tilted sideways, that hole where a face should be, wide, pulsing, breathing. The phone was just ahead. The old rotary line bolted to the cracked wall behind the check-in desk. It glowed under the flickering emergency light, the only thing in this nightmare that looked real. Solid. Possible. I grabbed the receiver, pressed it against my ear. Static. Endless static. Then a click. And breathing. Not mine. Not theirs. Something else. A voice. Low. Crooked. Distorted. Wet. You shouldn't have opened it. Click. Deadline. I dropped the phone, and when I turned, the creature was inches away. Its hands unfolded, split open down the middle like rotten fabric, revealing not bones, but more hands inside. Fingers growing from fingers. Skin splitting to expose teeth. Pulsing tissue. Things moving, Inside things, inside things. The hole in its face expanded again. The morgue groaned. The walls cracked wide open. Black veins shot out in every direction, wrapping lockers, splitting floor tiles, crawling toward me. Inside that spiral void, I saw the others. All of them. The missing. Faces warped into the walls of the vortex. Fingers scratching. Mouths gasping. Eyes staring straight at me, begging, warning, cursing. It stepped forward, raised one impossible hand, and pointed, straight, at me. Talk, talk, talk. Everything collapsed. The walls imploded inward. The ceiling buckled. Lockers folded like paper. Concrete twisted like wet cloth. A cyclone of flesh, metal, breath, and black sludge spiraled around the creature's face, pulling everything in. The floor disappeared beneath me. I fell. Or the morgue fell around me. I don't know. The only thing I remember is the sound. Breathing. That endless, suffocating breathing. Filling every crack of my mind. Filling the space where my lungs should have been. Filling everything. Then darkness. Nothing. Silence. Not the silence of peace. The silence of something that never needed sound in the first place. A hollow. A void. A prison. A mouth. Date, October 12th, 2022. Filed by Deputy Investigator M. Keller. Summary. Responded to an emergency systems failure at the Franklin County Morgue after 14 hours of radio silence. Findings: the building was unlocked but abandoned. No staff on site. All 28 body lockers open and empty. Surveillance footage, corrupted, files looping with static and strange audio distortions, described by technicians as heavy breathing sounds. Physical evidence recovered. None, except for a single note taped to the inside of locker 23. Message reads, "It still breathes." That was today's story. If you made it this far, let me know what you thought in the comments. Also, tell me if you've ever heard of anything similar happening near where you live. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. There are plenty more chilling stories coming your way. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.